Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to the next video tutorial through DEAMS Discoverer Viewer. Now remember, once we log into DEAMS here's the home page. If you haven't already gone into Edit Favorites, please do and add in the Discoverer Viewer profile. Add in the words right click next to it, so you make sure that you do right click on it when you open it. If you don't open in a new tab or a new window, it's your personal preference. There's no avenue back to DEAMS homepage, and you have to close out and log back in. You can find DEAMS Discoverer Viewer also down here under your navigator by clicking there. Remember your preferences to ensure that your line item level detail is set to 999,999, not the defaulted 10,000 lines of information, and ensure that your enable fan trap detection is still unchecked. If you have any questions on seeing these, go back to our video tutorial on DEAMS Discoverer Viewer Introduction and we'll take a closer look. But once you're able to go in here to your worksheet, you can go and search for different reports, and today what we're going to focus on is the status of the All Requisitions report. So we're just going to search for requisition. Now that we've gone ahead and searched for requisition, we come up with all of these different Discover workbooks that have the word requisition in the title. What we're going to be concerned with is right here, the FMA Requisition Status. So by clicking on the little target icon, you're going to focus in on just that workbook. It's going to expand this automatically for you and give you all of the different sheets or tables that is underneath that exact workbook. And you could go down and look through all of these. Right here, pay attention, understand that the requisitions linked POs and requisition without linked POs, this report is not pulling from the correct table. So the only requisitions that will show as linked POs are GPCs or 4009s linking to their POs. Any Form 9 is not going to link to the contract, etc. So that is in the other report for the linked purchased orders report that we will cover in another training session. But all I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on all requisitions and allow it to run. Once the parameter screen comes up, all I'm going to do is I'm going to run mine pretty wide open. So I'm just going to enter my 3-position DEAMS site ID. Foxtrot 7 Papa is for the 115th Fighter Wing. You can click on the little flashlight and try and locate it by location. But if you just know your first 3 digits that always start your Form 9s, that's probably going to help you find your DEAMS site ID. It also should start all of your DODAX and your DOD and then F7P numbers. Fun code, I'm going to run it for everything, so I put in this actual percentage mark, fiscal year, everything right now. I've only been on DEAMS 18 months, so percentage. OAC, OBAN, self-explanatory. Notice no OE on this one, back to just the OAC and OBAN. You can filter down if RCCCs are what you're looking for. The type is here. Requisition number specifically if you're looking for that document ID and finding out more about it. Or you can go yes or no for planning and non-planning. It's very useful for end of year. But all I'm going to do is just click go, and I'm going to allow this to run in the background as it runs to the elapsed time, and then we'll show you the report. Alright, so that only took about a minute and a half, and now we have all of our requisition statuses. And what we have here is you can see that it's just the start, but there's several other columns to the right. Understand that you can use these little rows and columns links here to try and see it in your web browser, but just to ensure that you click on export there, and now you're going to have an option to export everything you want. The 5th option down is that Microsoft Excel workbook. It'll refresh the page real fast. Now you're going to click export. When you click that, it's going to package it together, and all you're going to do is wait in the background until you have a little button that appears. So once it starts to run, you're just going to wait until the page refreshes and clicks, and there should be a little button here to say save or export. Now we have our click to view or save. We're just going to click that, and in DEAMS, any reports you want to do, you want to save as, don't open them. When you open them, it does slow down the server for everybody else, so we all appreciate it when you don't. And now we're just going to go in and we're going to find that data element. We're going to say, okay, this is our all requisitions. Right here I have the DEAMS all requisition status for the fiscal year. I'm going to save it. I'm going to say yes. And now it's going to download all of that data right down here, and it's going to give me the option to open it. If you get this bar and immediately it says that it failed to download and it gives you the option to retry, just go ahead and go up here back to this link right here. It'll go right to what you just previously ran. Click go again under the parameters just like you want to run it again, and then export again. If you continue to retry and it get successful, it's just corrupted data and it won't work. So we're going to go ahead and open that up. Alright, now that we have the Excel file open, notice that it opens with this enabled content link up here. It just looks like a CSV text file, but there's a macro tab right here. Now we're going to go ahead and click on this enabled content and watch what happens. So now we clicked on it, it ran through its background, it probably blinked a few times for you, and it opened back up. And now notice the macro tab is gone. All the columns are formatted, expanded correctly. There's actually some color. But one of the biggest issues that you see right here is, again, our header row is not in row number 1, and we want our header in row 1. So we're going to go ahead and highlight rows 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to right click and we're going to delete those rows. Alright, so now that we've clicked Enable Content, we've deleted the top rows, now we have a formatted area that we're going to do. I'm just going to filter this so that I can show you the columns, not necessary for when you're saving it or when you're using it for any of our products. But this first column here, this is your requisition number. So this is going to be your GPC number that you enter. This is going to be your 4009 or your Form 9 here. This is going to be all of that information that you're going to look for. This is going to be your MIPR, etc. So, and now we're going to have statuses. Notice that we have an approved status, a canceled status, an in-process status. In-process just means it's routing and hasn't been performed yet. Incomplete means that it was started but never routed. So incomplete is sitting in somebody's inbox, as is rejected, meaning that some level along the line said, sorry, but you're either forgetting something or it's not valid, and rejected it back to them. Rejected is something that you want to take a look at quite often, because you want to have them go in there and actually cancel that out of the system. Otherwise, rejected sit there in the system. So that's something I look at. I do run this report. As they reject, I bring them up and try and get them taken care of. Next, we have our Air Force Form 4009 or 4006. We have our MORDs and our MIPRs and our Form 9s here for the form type. Because understand that a MORD is nothing more than a requisition and a PO. Depending on the type of MORD will be how that PO is obligated. Here's a planning PR. This is really kind of nice because a planning PR, anything that says yes for a planning PR, is something that is not necessary right now. And if you've learned in the routing process, it will come through Budget Reviewer to Cons Review for contracting to take a look at and get information from, and then back to Budget where it stages. It doesn't go through for certification until you change the PR flag. It's great for end-of-year planning purposes. And here's our commitment amount, here's our requisition amount, here's the name of the individual who prepared it, our effective date that they transacted it. There's your first three of your DEAMS site again. Here's your installation information. And now here's the nice category, and it's especially useful for our STH, is now we have the linked PO. So now this is the PO that corresponds to it. So if we were to go down here and find a PO information, we could see all of the different GPCs, etc. that show up, and it tags it all the way down. But notice that this only has GPC data because this requisition status is not there. So understand that process. You want to use the linked PO for any of your Form 9s or contracts. Here's your FSCs. Remember, GPC should be 99.99, and then it gets into your PATEO information with all of your accounting data all the way across. It does show you what DAGs have signed it. It does not show you, or not signed it, but who they're assigned to and who it will route through. So it's one way that you can kind of see where it's at or where it's going. And then another nice item is it does tell you the number of lines, and it does tell you the description of that document and item number. So we go all the way through, and there was one more column here, which now it has an item description there, and it also has an overall description there. It's a difference between a line item and the header when you go into DEAMS. So that's the Requisition All Statuses report. It's great to find out where everything is in routing, clean up your rejects, and definitely helps you plan for end-of-year rack and stack when you're looking to spend any of that money during fallout. I appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you next training. Thank you.